Hello, I'm Leslie Juvin-Acker. I am author, legal communicator, and psychic medium. Come and get ready with me, and I'll tell you what it's like to be a psychic medium. I have demonstrated intuitive abilities, which I pretty much call, fourth dimensional imagination experience. You could call it ESP. Since I was a little girl, I could see what I call angels. I could sense what was going on in people's future and in their minds and in their energy for my whole life. And that made me feel outcast because I would say things and people didn't like it. My friend John Chatat in Canada says I'm a walking shit stirrer. My husband says that too. It could be very intimidating because I can see things that people don't see. But it's given me a very good advantage in my life, financially, professionally. It's kept me from danger. It's kept me from hurtful people and experiences. And I live my life by it. It's my guiding star. It's my compass. It's my inner directional force. And the question is, what is that directional force? For me, God is love. It is love. Love is the only truth. Love is the only reality. Love is the only power. Love is the only space, time, and dimension, and everything else is just an illusion that we make up and that we live in, like a cosmic stage play. So I didn't know that I was a psychic medium at all until I had a reading with another psychic that my husband, Frank, introduced me to. And she said to me, "Oh, you're going to be doing what I do in California, and you're going to do it with celebrities and famous people." And I just thought she was crazy. I didn't believe her at all. Fast forward, I have my daughter, and I have a terrible case of postpartum depression to the point where I understood why people committed suicide. I honestly felt during that time that it was like this fight against wanting to die and commit suicide. I was like, I don't know how it was. It felt like there was this battle inside of me that was saying, choose life, choose life, choose life, over and over and over again. And if it wasn't for my daughter, I don't think I would be alive today. She was really that presence that kept me in the living realm. And so I understand why people do that. And when I read people of souls who've crossed over who have done that, I understand the journey. I understand the experience. So that was when I started to experience a lot of psychic phenomena, was when I had that postpartum experience. And the first real experience that I had was I was dreaming, and I had a dream that this young man had committed suicide, and police came to the scene, and the grandmother came, and the spirit of the young man said, "Nobody loves me." And the grandmother in the dream said, "I love you." So I woke up, I got a phone call. It was my brother in Florida. I was in France, and he said my roommate's son committed suicide, and he was a teenager. And the grandmother of his roommate's son was my brother's colleague, and she was devastated. So that was really the first time that I had an interactive experience with a soul. And I always knew that I was always a little bit different. My relationships with people were just always I was always very honest with people. And honesty makes people uncomfortable because everybody is playing this emperor's new clothes charade. We're trying to make people believe something that we want them to believe. And it's tough. I faced a lot of rejection in my life. I don't really talk about that, but I faced a lot of rejection, a lot of otherism, a lot of exclusion. And it's the journey of being someone who is very, very sensitive. But the upside is that there's a lot of benefits to it. You don't feel alone. You know what to do. You are prompted every day to be honest and live the most authentic life. But there's always an internal prompting to be the very best, to be healthy, to live your life in a way that is conducive to receive spirit. So you can't lie and receive the truth. You can't be unhealthy and be able to be a strong medium. There's always that balance. You always have to go on this side. You can't go that side. So no lying, no negative thoughts about people, no negative thoughts about yourself. Your internal dialogue has to be either quiet or loving. And that's why I'm a big fan of the Edgar Cayce ARE material, because Edgar Cayce, being the most verified psychic in the entire world and having the most documented readings, says time and time again, if you want to be a channel for love, you have to be a pure channel. So that's been my journey. What does it feel like to be a medium? It feels good. It feels healthy. It feels natural. It feels right. It feels like you're in the flow. So to be a medium is to be completely open to the spirit of love all the time. When I don't feel good, it's because I am closed off. And I don't mean like I'm open to receiving messages and then not open. That's different. I think as long as you allow yourself to be open to spirit and to flow, to expand, to get bigger, to take space, to do it, to be a living incarnation of love, it feels really good. And you feel like anxiety when you're not open to spirit. So that's my experience with being a medium. I physically see them, like I can see them walking. It wasn't always like that. It was always in my mind. I could feel them. And as my abilities got stronger and my attunement to spirit, to love has gotten stronger, I can physically see them in a room. I can see them walking around. I can hear them, and I sense my guides. I can see my guides. I can see voices of nature spirits. And no, I'm not crazy. I've been psychiatrically evaluated. And my psychiatrist was like, you're not crazy. You're having a spiritual experience. Thank God being in California, that's a possible thing. Being a medium helps my writing. That is the source of all my writing. I've been a writer my entire life. I have stories in my head. That's just how it's been. So I feel like the biggest hurdle is two things: people who deny it, and then people who want to exploit it. The people who deny intuitive abilities, they speak out of ignorance. They speak out of limitation. They speak out of the darkness of their own mind. And it used to bother me, like, even my mom thought my abilities were evil. She doesn't even talk to me about them. She won't acknowledge them. She's Pentecostal and Southern Christian, you know. She can get touched by the spirit and she can get information, but I can't. That's just the way it is. I don't judge my mom for it. She has her own limited understanding of it. She doesn't know what it feels like. She has her glimpses, I think. I think one day she'll come to understand it, but you have to get used to having people in your own family reject you. And rejection is just part of the game because people reject what they don't understand. And honestly, rejection is protection. You don't want to be around people who don't love you and support you. So there's that. I do live with that. But it's so freeing though, because when those negative and unloving and self-centered and doubtful people are not there, it's just so much more peaceful. And then you are put in the presence of people who are loving and who are caring and who want to be around you and who want to understand and grow their own abilities. And the function of being a strong medium is being a loving, honest person. It's really that simple. The more loving and honest you are, the better your abilities are. And that means you can't lie to yourself. So your spirit knows when you're lying to yourself, whether by, nobody's going, I'm going to lie to myself. We believe false things. I talk about that in Engineering You Mood. We believe false things and we delude ourselves and we create these painful physical experiences, life experiences. We invite people into our lives that are showing us what we believe. That's how it is. And you have to constantly confront the truth. And when you allow spirit to guide you and to show you and do for you that life is not labor, that life is effortless, and the universe is always providing for you and giving to you and guiding you and showing you, it becomes so much easier and effortless. And then when you know how to be a medium of truth and love and wisdom, then you can be a medium of wealth. You could be a medium of money. You could be a medium of healing. You could be a medium of prosperity and joy. And I think that you see that. You see that with comedians, with actors, with people who distribute wealth and give wealth, people who nurse and love people. Everyone's a medium of a form of love. Everything is a form of love. So money is a form of love. Material things are a form of love. Everything is in the form of love. And everything that we seek in life is love. We are seeking God. And that is the end of that. Joel Goldsmith talks a lot about it. He articulates that very, very well. So yeah, I see things. I think that the worst thing is people who want to use abilities to exploit others and to just have and get something. Coming out of that place is very difficult to see because it's rooted in self-centeredness. It's rooted in selfishness. And it's sad because you see people who don't want to learn. I think like the worst experience for me is when people are trauma dumping and they're deluding themselves. They're blaming everybody for how they feel. They're blaming everyone for their choices. They're blaming everyone for what they they do. And that's the more self-centered you are, the more you suffer, period. So you have to be more loving. You have to see the oneness in everything and everyone. I talk about that in Engineering Your Mood. If you're not open to loving and you're not caring, and if you're not seeing our unity, you suffer. So all these people who spread hate, spread lies, who try to control the government to exploit people, slave drive people, you think they go home and they're just at peace and they're joyful? No, they're suffering. They can't sleep. And I know that because I've coached a lot of these people. They can't sleep. They're lonely. People don't like them. They're empty. So the more loving you are, the better quality of life that you have. I call it the good life. It's a way of living. It's a way of being. It is a spiritual path. But the spiritual path is full of prosperity, joy and love, friendship. So it's more than just seeing those who've crossed over, because the reality of things is that there is no death. There is only life. There's no death. Death is an illusion of separate. Death is a door from one dimension to another, period. So that's my life. That's my circle. That's my experience. A lot of my family doesn't talk to me. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear reflections and consequences of their choices, attitudes. So I have my own little family here in my house in France. I have a lot of friends. It's amazing how many friends I have. I'm so blessed with friends. I have a lot of spirit guides and people who come. That's been the gift. But I realized I didn't come here to, like, quote, be accepted by people who don't understand me. That's not the point. The point is to love and to serve. And my karma with my family, of which I was born, is over. I did my job. And I'm very happy with what I have accomplished. So a lot of mediums and intuitive people face rejection because you're facing ignorance. You're facing people who don't understand. So the biggest lesson I have learned, and I'll put this here, is that I came into this earth and into a family that couldn't love me, who refused to love me, they're still verbally abusive and violent today. I have my dad who hunts me down and, like, puts comments on videos of mine, says I'm a liar and all those things. You have that experience. And for me, I learned that the reason why people betray you and don't love you and hurt you and are violent is that you learn to love yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. More than 8 billion people on this planet. You have to learn to love yourself and to let yourself be a channel and vessel of love. Period. It's good though, because you don't care about rejection, because rejection it's a mechanism for them, not for you. And so I learned to love myself. I don't need validation. I don't need people to love me. I love myself. And I feel the love of the universe within me. I feel it everywhere. I feel it from the trees. I feel it from the animals. I feel it from children. I feel it from spirit. I feel it from the wind. Like, I can feel love. I feel it. I feel my own very presence of my own being, which is love. Why would you need to seek it in somebody else when you are the incarnation of love? That's what being a medium is. There's a lot of wisdom in this experience. And sometimes you learn it through receiving information and hearing the wisdom and being guided by it and saying, oh, okay, I know this, I'm going to do the right thing. Or you learn it through hard knocks. You learn it through being selfish and falling down and hurting and learning a very painful lesson. A lot of people learn like that. A lot of people learn through suffering on earth. You don't have to learn through suffering, but people do. You have to learn the consequences of selfishness and hate. You have to learn the consequences of violence. You have to learn the consequences of deception and lies. And all ends run true to their beginnings. That is a universal truth. By a fruit you shall know the tree, right? So lessons are: don't lie, love yourself, feel the love, search for truth, be open to it. All the things about being a human, really. Don't use intuition to get something or to be somebody, to control people. I've had a lot of clients who wanted to become life coaches and they just wanted to use intuitive coaching as a way to control people and outcomes. That's not what it's about. It's about going with the flow and letting love and spirit do its thing. You don't use spirit to manifest. Spirit manifests through you. So you want more money, you say, let me be a vessel of wealth. And guess what? Most of the time you're going to be giving it away. And that's the fun part for me. All the wealth that I get to give away. I go to my shops and I support my friends who have small businesses, or I'll donate, or I'll buy art from an artist. That's what true wealth is supporting people who are channeling themselves, prosperity and gifts. You live in God's economy, man's economy. It's not a straightforward answer of what it's like to be a medium. These are the things I've learned from being a medium. This is my way of life. This is my way of being. I'm not here to change anybody's mind, to tell you how to live your life. I'm not here to control you or to sell you anything. I'm just here to tell you my story. And that's my version of things. That's my experience. I have children who are intuitive, who display abilities, because all children do. And then we grow up to repress them. I think the more we repress our abilities, the more we repress our truth of who we are. The sick sicker you get. Very sick. So don't repress. Don't repress and don't lie. Those are the two sources of illness I have. Everybody is a medium of something. Talent, music, money, healing. We're all mediums. What are you a medium of? You are a medium of something. You have been a medium your whole life. We're all vessels and channels of something, of love. But what form of love? I'm not a makeup artist. I just do what I feel like doing. I haven't worn makeup really in years. When I was in law school, I stopped wearing makeup because that 40 minutes of makeup, I was like, I'm just going to use it to work out. One more step. Everything I do is just to help people. I like showing up and not knowing what's going to happen. And then I start to get all the information in the space. The space will tell you. You walk into a room and the room will tell you exactly what's going on. You meet somebody and you'll exactly get it. Like the information just appears. So I never worry about like if I am invited to a place to speak or to read. I don't even think about what I'm gonna say. I just show up in the space. I let the space start talking, and then I repeat what I hear. Even for writing, I don't even worry about it. Like when I wrote La Liberación, when it came time to sit down, I just sat down, sat at the desk, and I made myself ready to receive. And then I just started typing what I saw in my imagination, word for word. I just started describing it. The best part about it was going through law school, especially studying torts and criminal law, was you have to describe everything word for word. Like lifted his arm, lanced it, threw it, the ball left the hand. So you become very adept as a writer to describe what you are seeing. So as a legal communicator, writing helped me. Law school helped me to be a better legal communicator and better author, a better storyteller. So that's my experience. You could be a channel for anything. You could be a medium for anything. Everybody's a medium of something. Unfortunately, people cut off spirit and they become channels for hate. And hate is just nothingness. You eventually run out of energy. You run out of your own steam. When you're not connected to the universal spirit of love, you are working on your own energy, and then eventually it implodes. You get sick and then you die. It's self-destructive. So when you shut yourself off from love, you start to self-destruct. So you see that with people of violent personalities. You see that with, politicians who are hateful. It always has the same effect when you shut off love. If you're not a vessel or channel for love, you close yourself off and you self-destruct. That's what I have learned from being a medium. I feel like this is that. There's nothing more I'm going to do for makeup. I'm going to a party tonight, so I feel like I'm going to church. What do you think? That's my experience from being a medium. I hope that you've learned something. I'm Leslie Juvin-Acker. You can find more about me at lesliejuvinacker.com, at Leslie Juvin-Acker on Instagram, and you can buy my books on Amazon. You can learn more about everything that I've learned from being a celebrity life and career coach, everything I've learned from spirit, I put in my books, every single one of my books. I have another book coming out called Bad Laws, what legal history shows about the American character. That one's coming out. I have Le Mariage, which is the follow-up to La Liberación. That will be coming out next year. And then I have a memoir about my midlife identity crisis. And that's more my story, my experience as a woman going through perimenopause and being a mom and being a medium and going through law school and retiring from coaching. I tell more of my stories. And I am moving to Castelnaudary, France this week. And you will be joining me on my adventures there. What's it like to live in France? And my new home that I bought all in cash, sight unseen. You're going to see that with me. You're going to discover my house with me for the first time. So come and join me on my adventures, all the people I meet, all the stories I tell. Thank you for joining me on The Good Life.